We're live?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you, Matthew. And this is the Town of Babylon Planning Board. The date is July 13th, 2020. We have a public hearing. And I understand we have 24. So why don't we begin, Denise? You could call the roll of all of the people on the board and other support staff that are here this evening.
Patrick Halpin,
Present.
Michael Cafaro,
Present.
Frank Santos. He's muted. Frank, you're muted.
Present.
Julianne Nolan,
Present.
Jerry O'Neill, Dan Truchin,
Present.
Ed Wynn,
Present.
Planning Board Counsel Rich Casey,
Present.
Environmental Brian Zatani,
Present.
Planning Matthew Esposito.
Present.
Okay.
Thank you very much. What is the first item on the agenda, Denise?
Well, first I'll read the planning board statement.
Right.
The planning board shall have the right to rely on any information that is presented by the applicant. If any such information is later found to be inaccurate or incorrect, the planning board may determine that any approvals, building permits, or other actions previously granted in connection with the application are null and void.
Thank you.
I'll
Matt,
also read a statement into the record. Good evening. Tonight we have one public hearing on the agenda utilizing the Zoom webinar application. We will have the applicant joining us to present their application to the board and answer any questions. Following the presentation, we will individually call upon members of the public who have registered to speak regarding this application. Individuals will be promoted from an attendee to a panelist in order to voice their comments. For the record, there are 24 members of the public registered to speak on Planning Board Job Number 1906A 711 Corp. This hearing is also being live streamed on the Town of Babylon YouTube channel. Following each presentation and public comments, the public hearing will be closed. The record for this matter shall be held open for a minimum of 7 days. As long as the record is open, any member of the public who did not register to participate in tonight's Zoom meeting can provide comments on the application by email or regular mail directed to Town of Babylon Planning Board, 200 East Sunrise Highway, Lindenhurst, New York, 11757, or to the email address planningcomments@townofbabylon.com. If you have any questions or require any additional information, please call the planning department at 631-957-3103.
Okay, thank you, Matthew. I see that board member Jerry O'Neill has joined us. Jerry, you're present. Could you please announce yourself, Jerry O'Neill? You may be muted.
Jerry, you're muted.
Let's see. There we go. He's unmuted now.
Unmuted, Jerry, you're present.
Jerry O'Neill, here for the meeting.
Okay, thank you. All right, Denise, why don't you call the first public hearing?
Sure. Public hearing, site plan review, Planning Board Job Number 19-06A 711 Corp. They propose a change of use to an existing pad site for a 3,204 square foot 711 along with associated site improvements.
Okay, who is here on behalf of the applicant?
I'm promoting the applicant's team to a panelist now. If you just give me a moment, I'm going through. We've got architect Rick Bartlett. I see Zach Chaplin. Fahim. Andrew Valari. Kenneth. The only person that I've registered for the applicant team that I do not see is Sean O'Neill, unless he's missing him in here. Rick, do you know if Sean O'Neill is on the line?
I do not know that. He was informed.
Okay. I don't see him, but if you guys are comfortable proceeding,
Yeah,
Hi, this is Ken Bordieri from 7-Eleven. I'm not sure whether Sean will be here, but I'm here on behalf of 7-Eleven at the moment.
Okay.
okay,
Who's going to
great.
present the application? The
I will.
proposal? I'm sorry, who's that?
It's Ken Bordieri.
Okay. Right.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Rick Bartlett, architect, offices at 190 Motor Parkway,
Okay.
Suite 201 in Hop Hog, New York, 11788.
Okay. Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but?
I do.
Thank you. Please proceed.
As you are aware, we're here before you this evening for a change of use for an existing pad site located in the Merryneck Shopping Center in Copeg, located at the southwest corner of Montauk Highway and South Great Neck Road. The building area that we're looking at is the prior bank use. Chase Bank previously occupied this building. It's been vacant for a while now. Encompasses about 3,204 total square foot of area. And the ground lease area that we're dealing with improvements on is approximately 21,000 square feet. Over the course of the last year or so, we've worked with the planning department very closely to come up with a building design that's both aesthetically pleasing and upgrades the existing building significantly, as well as developing a site plan that improves several aspects of the shopping center itself. The architecture of the building will be improved by removing the Tudor styling and mansards, refinishing the existing brick that's on the building, adding crown molding cap to all walls and metal canopies along two frontages. As I mentioned, the site plan has been improved significantly. We have included a submission to the town recently that addressed the remaining comments from the town departments that was submitted to the planning department earlier this week. With us tonight, we have myself as architect for the project, Mr. Andrew Valerio, Mr. Zach Chaplin from Stonefield Engineering, the civil engineers, and also representatives from 7-Eleven. To speak to the site plan aspects of the project, I will turn it over to Mr. Zach Chaplin, who is from Stonefield Engineering.
Okay. Mr. Chaplin, before you begin, has you and your team had a chance to review the memorandum by the Commissioner of Planning? The covenants, restrictions, and other conditions?
Yes.
Do you have any objection, any concerns, anything that you would like to bring to the attention of the board at this time?
No.
Okay, so you accept all of the covenants, restrictions, and other conditions on behalf of the applicant. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Please proceed.
For the record, Zachary Chaplin from Stonefield Engineering and Design, offices located at 584 Broadway, Suite 310, New York, New York. Just to give the board a little bit of background, Stonefield's been working with 7-Eleven for the better part of a decade. Recently, we've really listened to a lot of the local feedback, specifically this town. We've met with the planning department. This project started 2 years ago. We've had a lot of discussions with them on how we can improve this corner. Some of the things included just reconfiguring the layout in the most optimal way, obviously adding in some landscaping and some other features. But of course, unlike some of the other 7-Eleven convenience stores that may have been built in the 70s and 80s, try to incorporate things like loading zones, trash enclosures, good maneuverability throughout the site for both passenger vehicles and trucks as well. So with that said, just jumping into the site plan, as Rick said, we are reutilizing the existing footprint of the Chase Bank. We're not changing the building with the exception of the architecture. What you'll see is that compared to the Chase Bank had a drive-through ATM. What we've done was we've actually added storefront parking. So there are actually 11 parking spaces that are right in front of the store, whereas beforehand, all the parking was actually kind of around the Chase Bank. in working with the town, they've actually had a lot of comments, which, we thought were really good ideas. One of which is actually the removal of a curb cut on South Great Neck Road. If you recall, the drive-through ATM actually had an exit point at a curb cut right over there. And really what that does, removing this curb cut, just takes away, a situation where you're kind of really close to the intersection. And of course, there's a curb cut immediately to the south. So we find that as a real benefit to be able to remove that curb cut and then add in a true loading zone, for the vehicles for deliveries. We've increased the drive aisles to meet the modern standards of 24 feet drive aisles and 18-foot minimum stalls. Some of the striping previously was a little bit, I would say, lesser to a certain extent. We've added significant amount of perimeter landscaping just to kind of beautify this corner to the extent that we can. We're replacing a lot of the sidewalk along the frontage, upgrading to ADA compliance. We're repaving a significant portion of the corner. We're actually upgrading the drainage as well. So within our lease area, we're putting in a brand new drainage system just to improve the conditions at this corner. We're also proposing brand new LED lighting in this corner, downlit, shielded, to really just improve the condition that's there today. And just from a parking standpoint, while we are losing a couple spaces, there is no variance required because the requirement for convenience stores is actually less than the bank use. So to some extent, we're actually improving that condition as well. And again, I think it's important to note that the storefront parking here is a really great addition to this site plan. We also have a couple bike racks as well. That was another item that the planning department recommended. And overall, what we try to do is just take this corner that's kind of been vacated for the last couple of years and try to improve this condition as much as we can. And I think today this has been a great example of just working very closely with a planning and engineering department to come up with where we are today. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Do any of the board members have any questions regarding the site plan?
Yes, Mr. Bordieri, this is Jerry O'Neill. Just to clarify, I'm glad you're closing that curb cut out onto South Great Neck Road. But you said something about that becoming a loading zone. Is that correct?
Yeah, so if you look carefully, there's the trash enclosure that abuts the building. Where the curb cut used to be, we're putting in an 82-foot long loading zone by 19 feet. And really it just becomes a dedicated area for the deliveries to just have a place where they can unload in a safe way.
So they're unloading right along the west side of South Great Neck Road up to the building.
Correct.
So it doesn't impact the parking area that's around the store?
No.
Good. Okay.
Jerry, do you have any other questions?
No, that was I was really concerned to make sure that curb cut would be closed because it was dangerous the way the bank had that set up. And cars emptied out right there at the traffic light practically. So that's a good move. I like that.
Okay. Are there any other questions regarding the site plan from any of the other board members?
Yes.
So, Leanne?
I
Please.
also have a question with reference to that loading area. So if you have a tractor trailer coming in there, how do you propose he comes in? Is he going to have to back into that space? Is he driving around the circle?
I think Matt is actually pulling this up as we speak. So the truck would turn in on the main driveway, and then it would basically circulate the site as shown, and it would be able to just stage within the loading area and then leave through there.
Yeah, there's plenty of area over there.
Okay. Julianne, do you have any additional questions?
So the tractor trailer is coming in the main entrance off of Montauk and not the entrance off of South Great Neck.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions regarding the site plan? No. Okay, Matthew?
So we have 24 people who are registered to speak. So what we're going to do is I'm going to promote one at a time in order of registration, the members of the public. They'll have an opportunity to voice their concern. Then they will be demoted back to an attendee, and we will call the next person and repeat until everyone's had a chance to voice their concerns. So it looks like the first person that I have registered here is Carl Martinez and Sue D'Angio. I'm just going to look through for them right now. So I'm promoting Sue D'Angio to a panelist right now.
I'm scrolling through this so I could find Sue D'Angio. I don't see her yet.
I'm just going to ask her to unmute herself.
Okay.
Oh, hi, I'm here.
Okay, I can hear you. Could you please state your name and address for the record?
Yes, Susan D'Angio, 3 Beach Avenue, Copiague.
Okay, could you raise your right hand and repeat after? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, please proceed.
I'm sorry.
No, please start.
Oh,
Thank you.
just tell you my main concerns.
Whatever you want to talk to us about. By the way, I'm asking all the people who speak to kind of keep it to 3 minutes if it's possible. We have a lot of speakers.
Okay.
Yes, so please focus on your main concerns.
I'm speaking for me and Carl Martinez.
Okay.
We live right across the street, and we are very concerned about, we're having a lot of problems with the traffic, the garbage from that center, that parking area. The garbage is all over my property, and the traffic is unbearable because of the new condos that were just built. Let alone we keep getting packages from UPS as it is stolen off our property.
Wow.
So our concern is, you know, the traffic, the garbage, and the thievery, the robbery.
The lack of security.
The lack of security.
Okay.
I mean, that the garbage is terrible. It comes off the parking lot. I made so many complaints and nobody does anything.
Okay.
And the traffic for me to get out of my parking spot, I actually have to wait a long time before it's horrible. Everything just changed.
Matthew, can you pull up the site plan? Do we see the area that Mr. D'Angelo is talking about?
Yes, and I'm right across from the parking lot, and the tractor trailers park behind CVS all the time. You can hear them loading, unloading. It's very noisy.
Okay.
If I would have known all this, I would have never bought the house here.
Okay. What is your address again? Is that Beach Avenue?
Yes. Yeah, it's on the corner of South Great Neck Road and
On the corner.
on Beach Avenue.
Okay, so that's the house that we're looking as you're speaking, and we pulled up the satellite photo, so we see exactly where you are. Okay.
I'm directly across the street.
Yeah, I see.
And the 7-Eleven is going to be right on the corner, which is going to cause more traffic, a lack of security. The garbage, forget about it.
Okay. Thank you very much. We've noted all of that for the record. Is there
Okay.
anything-
I'm going to.
Okay, go ahead, Matthew. Next.
I'm going to
Darren
move.
Federico is next.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Denise?
Darren Federico is the next panelist.
I'm promoting her right now to a panelist.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
I
here.
think
All right, we're looking for you.
Can you
Okay,
find
there you
me?
Sharon Federuso. All right, could you please state your name and address for the record?
Yes,
please?
Sharon Federuso, 704 Narragansett Village Drive, Lindenhurst, New York.
Okay, you raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth?
Yes, I do.
Please
I
proceed.
am here representing the Copeg Chamber of Commerce tonight. I am the president and I was asked to speak for the chamber members. It's not like we're not in favor of a 7-Eleven. We just feel that there are quite a few 7-Elevens between Lindenhurst, Amityville, and Copeg. And Copeg has been building quite a few apartment complexes now. And the thing that Copeg is really lacking is a cafe, some kind of an eatery. So that's what the Chamber of Commerce has been looking for a long time, to get either a restaurant or something to come to Copeg. They are concerned about the trucks coming and unloading on that corner, because they're also, Fine Fair is there also, which tractor trailer trucks are always there unloading also. So we have concerns, and as you know, South Great Neck Road is one way out for that whole community down south, and there's a lot of traffic that way. So we were just hoping that we could get something else besides a 7-Eleven, and we just feel there's a lot of 7-Elevens around in that area. I think you have 3 or 4 in Lindenhurst alone. And then you have Copeg. You have one that I'm aware of in Copeg. You have Amityville also. So, you know, it would just be nice to see something else on that corner rather than a 7-Eleven. That's how the Copeg Chamber of Commerce feels.
Okay, thank you very much. We
And
appreciate it.
thank you. Thank you for letting me speak, okay?
Welcome, thank you. Denise, who's next?
Next panelist is Christina Trinka.
I don't see Christina Trinka in my list of attendees. If I'm missing her, if you can raise your hand in the attendee list, we'll circle back to you. But I think we'll jump to the next person.
Mitch Giannini.
Okay. Promoting Mr. Giannini right now.
All right. Mr. Giannini, please state your name and address for the record. I think his microphone is off. He's muted.
Yep.
You have to unmute. There you go.
Yep, got it. No, I'm not speaking. I'm just joining to listening.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Next.
Mr. Halpin.
You're welcome, thank you.
Nicole Williams is next.
Okay,
I do not see Nicole Williams in my attendee list either. Again, I'll ask if I'm missing you to please send a chat or to raise your hand. But if not, we will jump to the next person.
Linda and Ed Figueroa.
Hold on one second. Promoting her right now. She should show up here as LG FIG. I'm just going to ask them to unmute themselves.
okay. Hello, please unmute yourself.
Okay, hold on just a minute.
All
Wait.
right.
Okay, can you hear us?
Can you see us or hear us?
Well, we can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay, great. Okay. Good enough.
Awesome.
All right, but let's see, we still show you as being muted.
Oh,
I hear.
We can hear them, and we have their video as well.
Oh, we do? Okay. I'm missing that on mine. All right, well, could you please state your name and address for the record?
Linda and Ed Figueroa,
Oh, there you are. You look like you've been at the beach.
Yeah, we have. We're in those new condos with the boat slips behind us. So we have the best of all the world here in Copac.
All right, good. So please, again, state your name and address for the record, please.
406 Canoe Place, Copac, New York.
Oh, the new condos.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Could you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Please proceed.
Okay, actually, we are really pleased with a lot of what's been happening in the Copac area. And we do agree with the Chamber of Commerce that we are lacking in restaurants and eateries. And most of our questions were answered by Matthew for the closure of the apron on South Great Neck Road. We do understand that we bought housing behind a row of very active stores, and we do understand the noise level with the trucks and the trailers. We would like to see an improvement in the rubbish and the garbage in the area. We certainly welcome 7-Eleven versus the horrible corner that's been there for the past 40 to 50 years. My additional two questions that I had is, initially, our HOA had approached the town of Babylon, and we were successful in getting a stop sign where the entrance to our community, where you make the right turn there. And the cars are crazy up and down this street. And that was the reason why we wanted the stop sign. But apparently there's a community center that was able to remove the stop sign that we were successful in implementing. So we would like to see that stop sign back in South Great Neck Road, whether it's where it originally was or somewhere to avoid the racing of the cars out of the communities south of us. And the second question that we have is the owners of the Merrineck Shopping Center. They were kind enough to paint a stockade fence behind all the stores, and coming south on South Great Neck Road, which is a short area between the stores and our community. However, painting the fence did not correct the sidewalk or the curb, and we would be very interested in finding out how that can be accomplished. And primarily, when the Merrineck owners would enhance the facade of the entire shopping strip mall that really hasn't been enhanced since the late 70s or early 80s at the most.
Could we make that conditional on this whole 7-Eleven approval, that they would enhance the facade of the Merrineck Plaza? Again, all of Copac seems to be reinvesting in itself, and it's really looking beautiful. It looks like a great place to live. This is the only place that is just so outdated. We would like to see some commitment from the shopping owners to upgrade that facade so that it'll enhance the entire area.
Yeah, look, we agree with you. It's tired. It's a tired shopping center, to be polite. Okay, anything else you'd like to add? All of this is being noted for the record.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. No,
Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your summer.
Yes, well said. Thank you.
The
Thank you.
next panelist is Evangeline Mojica.
I don't see Evangeline in my list of attendees. So again, if I'm missing you, please send a chat or raise your hand, and we'll circle back to you, and we'll jump to our next speaker.
Brian Vassar.
I have him, and I'm going to promote him to a panelist now. Just asking him to unmute himself as well.
Is his camera on, Brian?
I don't believe so.
You don't want my camera on. Okay.
Well, it's your choice.
All
All right,
thank
hold
you.
on.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
State your name and address for the record.
Brian Vassar, 117 Scudder Avenue, Copiague, New York.
All right, could you raise your right hand even though we can't see you? And do you swear to
I
tell?
got my right hand raised. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth.
Okay, please proceed.
Thank you very much for hearing me on this issue. I have a couple of concerns. My neighbors down in the South Great Neck Road area, I understand their concerns. I also want to applaud 7-Eleven to try to update the community and bring a business in our town, even though I don't think it's the right business for our town based on the amount of 7-Elevens in the area. Couple of things I will bring up. The South Great Neck Road area, I like the fact that they're eliminating that curb cut and they're going to allow trucks in there. But like the lady from Beach Avenue and the other people from the condominiums, those trucks are going to be coming in 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, whether it's that time of the day or night, because I work night shifts. It could be very inconvenient for the people in that area as far as the noise. I'd like them to look into other resources for the noise abatement so that they can reduce the amount of noise. One of my biggest concerns, and I agree with everybody, that shopping center is a mess, but that's not 7-Eleven's fault. That is the owner of the parking lot, the facility. With that said, I saw the routing of the trucking coming through the parking lot. And if that was there right now, the 18-wheeler be running over a mama's tent that is illegally placed in the shopping center. And I'll say that only because of the fact that they put that there without going through the ADA guidelines. 4 days later, they moved a handicap parking spot, but it doesn't have the curb cuts to get onto the sidewalk. So we're allowing the people occupying this area to do what they want for business. But getting back to the 7-Eleven, one of the biggest concerns is the traffic area. We have a monstrous apartment building that's going up on the southwest corner of that area. And that is making a mess of the area. And if anyone did any traffic studies, they need to do the traffic studies after that apartment building is up and running. Okay, I'm all for redeveloping Copiague. I support it, but we need to look further into this and make sure that we are doing the right thing for the people of Copiague. And I would also like to request copies of any meeting minutes of this and any letters that have been sent in. This is a public meeting. I have requested in the past and I denied, but I was able to access them because it is a public meeting.
No, it is a public meeting and the record is you can request it. You're certainly entitled to it.
Thank you, Mr. Halpin. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you. And thank you.
Have a good night and thank you for allowing me to speak.
Of course. Thank you. I appreciate you coming.
Next speaker is Nancy Quinney.
I'm just going to jump in. Nicole Williams was able to circle back, so I'm just going to pull her in next.
Okay.
Before we get to Nancy, and then Nancy will be next. I'm promoting Nicole to a panelist right now. I think we just need you to unmute yourself, Nicole.
Oh, there you are. Good to see you.
Hi, nice to see you as well.
Could you please state your name and address for the record?
Sure, Nicole Williams, 8 Beach Avenue, Copiague, New York.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please proceed.
Okay, just to echo some of the concerns that I've already, first of all, thank you for having me. And to echo some of the concerns that I've already heard, as we know, there's a lot of traffic over here at Beach Avenue on that South Great Neck. And the trash, I purchased my home 4 years ago, and the trash has never stopped being a problem. Those that remember, there was a bakery over there before about 4 years ago, and that's when it was a problem from then. And seeing the 7-Eleven being built there, I think the traffic, the foot traffic, as well as car traffic, I think someone already voiced the concern of security, which would be probably one of my number one concerns. And then I would have the trash would be probably the second concern that I would have in this area. As was stated before, there are a lot of 7-Elevens in the area. If you ride around even the 7-Eleven by the Gray's Barn that they just built on 110, the amount of traffic that's over there, being that the 7-Eleven is 24 hours, is to me ridiculous, the amount of traffic that's there. I think it brings the wrong type of people to the community. And I really have a lot of concerns with security and trash. And I just wanted to, make sure that my voice was heard on that. And I'm sure a lot of other people share the same type of concerns.
Thank you very much. And all of this is in the record, and your voice is certainly being heard. Thank you. And we appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. Denise?
Go back to Nancy Quinney.
Let me just make Nicole an attendee again. And I believe we have Nancy here. I'm going to promote Nancy to a panelist right now. I'm just asking Nancy to unmute herself.
Okay,
I think we have her now.
Can you hear me?
Whose wedding is that?
My grandson's. And they just told me they're having a baby, so I'm going to have another great-grandchild. Okay. Thanks for having me. And
hold on, please. State your name and address for the record, please.
Nancy Quiney, 110 Austin Place, Copiague.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I swear to tell the truth, the whole thing, nothing but the truth.
All right, thank you.
My main concern is the absolute last thing I want to see there is a 7-Eleven. Nothing against 7-Eleven. They are hangouts. If you go to 7-Eleven on Oak Street, it's a danger scene. It's drug addicts. It's everything that's impossible. Diagonally across, a little bit down the road, you have the South Bay Motel. What do you think is going to be hanging out in this 7-Eleven? If you go between Fine Fair and the next shopping center over, you don't go down that aisle. You don't go down that road because of what you have hanging out there. People begging for money, drugs, you name it, it's there. The shopping center is a disaster. The garbage is disgusting, especially on a Sunday. When maybe the last pickup might be a Friday. It's overrunning in the garbage cans. You see needles, you see masks, you see, I live there. I'm there every single day. It's a horror show. We do not need, 2 miles from here is Amityville 7-Eleven. 2 miles east is Bauer Street, the 7-Eleven there. 2 miles on the opposite side on Delaware is another 7-Eleven. 2 miles from there, across from the Pancake House, is another 7-Eleven. Is there not anything better for this community than a hangout of a 7-Eleven? The traffic coming from the east to make a left-hand turn onto Great Neck Road sometimes take 2 or 3 lights to get across. Now you're going to have trucks in and out. My other concern, the apartment building on Baylawn, you cannot get out onto Montauk. People are going to be cutting through the shopping center to make right and left-hand turns because the traffic is going to be so backed up. They're going to go through the shopping center. I see it now. The shopping center is a danger to drive through. It's even worse to walk. Nothing against 7-Eleven. I patronize 7-Eleven, but it's the absolute last thing that this community and that corner needs. Thank you for your time.
And thank you very much for participating. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next person on the list is Carolyn Kunkel.
I'm promoting Carolyn right now.
Hi, how are you doing?
We're well, thank you. Could you please state your name and address?
My name is Carolyn Kunkel. My address is 36 Benjamin Avenue, Amityville, New York.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Please proceed.
Well, I'm concerned about, I'm against having another 7-Eleven in the neighborhood. My family currently owns a Copeg 7-Eleven on Oak Street. And if this 7-Eleven comes, this is going to interfere with our business. And I've seen so many other 7-Eleven owners' businesses get destroyed by being encroached on by too many 7-Elevens in the same area, like literally cut their business in half, which, I mean, it's going to hurt our family. And I just don't agree that we should have that there. And plus other things like other people are saying with the traffic, and I would like to see a eatery like other people were saying, or something more useful in our community. I live here nearby this center, so having another 7-Eleven is just not what I want to see, and would really hurt us financially, personally, being that is my family's business on Oak Street.
Okay.
And that's pretty much what I wanted to say.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. And thank you for participating.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next panelist is Amy Naeem.
I'm promoting Amy right now.
Okay, where are you, Amy?
Just asking her to unmute herself.
Okay.
Hi,
Hi, could you please state your name and address?
my name is Amy Naeem, 241 Lake Drive, Copeg, New York.
You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay, please proceed. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Amy Naeem again. I am actually the franchisee that owns the 7-Eleven on Oak Street in Copeg. And as my sister just previously spoke, Carolyn Kunkel, I have a very deep concern with this moving forward, as the store is literally 1 mile from my store. And as this is happening in the 7-Eleven community, each time a new 7-Eleven is built in a certain mileage, the existing franchisee's business is greatly affected by that. And my store is 1 mile, the Amityville store is 1 mile, the Lindenhurst store is 1.3 miles, the one on Broadway in Amityville is 2.2 miles. I mean, simply it's saturated the entire, market of Long Island. There's already too many stores. And besides the fact that I personally, have a vested interest in my business, I don't think that it's going to improve Copeg community. As our community, we have other 7-Elevens and there's better things you can put there. As for the safety of that parking lot, I frequent that parking lot. I go to Mama's, I go to the other CVS in there. That parking lot is dangerous as it is. If you're going to add a 7-Eleven, I'm going to tell you, with my store, we have deliveries 7 days a week. So you're going to not only increase the traffic of the customers that are coming into the store, but also different types of trucks. Besides big trucks, you're going to have all kinds of delivery trucks double parked, blocking the parking lot for the other people in that parking lot. So the impact it's going to have, it's not just on my business, it has impact on the existing businesses, the 7-Eleven down the road, the Dunkin' Donuts across the street, the Rite Aid across the street that is also a similar business. It's redundant, this business. And there are, frankly, too many 7-Elevens on Long Island right now and that are too close together. And this is, you know, a pretty serious problem for the franchisees. And we're trying to get it out there. You know, when one gets built near our stores, what we have to say something. And also in that parking lot, I'd like to state for the record that I was forwarded an article on in January of 2019. There was a fatal accident in that parking lot, in the IGA parking lot. A woman was killed there. That's the level of danger that parking lot poses. And you want to add a business, a 24-hour business into that parking lot, you're increasing, you know, the risk factor. And as somebody else had previously said in this chat, the type of people that frequent 7-Eleven, some of them aren't the nicest people in the world. So you're going to have vagrants in that parking lot. You're going to have homeless people. It creates a new type of customer that's going to be hanging around there. And I don't know if the people that live surrounding that, you know, area are going to be happy about having homeless people and, you know, drug addicts standing in a parking lot all night. So, I mean, more or less, that's one of my biggest concerns. And I would like them to put something a little bit nicer, maybe another restaurant, something, you know, that, or anything else other than a 7-Eleven that would be, you know, not a 24-hour business. Mm-hmm. And that would, you know, add some kind of class to Copiague instead of just another convenience store. So we don't just like a fly-by red light district, you know, make it a, you know, good community. That's pretty much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you participating.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next panelist is Johanna Thibault.
Promoting Joanna right now.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
We can hear you.
It's okay if you can't see me.
I can see your beautiful picture there with what is love.
The ocean. Okay, my name is Johanna Thibault. I live at 1 Austin Place, which is right behind the shopping center. And while most of it was said already, Nancy forgot to inform you about the sexual acts that take place behind fine fare at night.
Before we get into the sexual acts.
My arm, okay.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay, now let's get back to the topic at hand.
Okay, so besides the drug addicts, which we all know about, and the homeless, there's also sexual acts that take place behind that fine fare, in that alleyway. Boy. You know, between fine fare and the condos. Mm-hmm. So what we would be, I don't mind the 7-Eleven, I really don't. But it does bring derelicts. And as it is, we have quite a few already, and I would prefer not to have any more. So okay. I have to agree, if you could put a nice little coffee shop in there or something to that effect, that would be much better. And other than that, besides the lights that shine in my house from the condo, that was a good idea. But that's all I have to say, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for participating.
Next panelist is Connie Farnetti.
I don't see Connie. So again, if I'm missing you, please raise your hand or send a chat and we can jump to the next person.
Mohammed Naeem.
I see Mohammed. I'm going to promote him right now.
Okay, where are you, Mohammed?
I have him coming up as Farouk Naeem.
Oh, okay, there we go.
I'm just asking that he unmutes himself.
Sir, could you please unmute your microphone? Hello? You need to unmute your microphone, Mr. Naeem.
And so I will, I'll make him back to an attendee, and you can try again. If you can send us a chat or something. If not, you can always send comments in writing via email or regular mail.
Next panelist is Terrence Ludwig.
I know Mr. Ludwig's in there, so let me promote him. Do you see Mr. Ludwig, Mr. Chairman?
I don't, but let me roll back here.
We have his video, and I believe he's unmuted.
Oh, there you are. Sir, could you please state your name and address?
Terrence Ludwig, 5 Colonial Road, Copiague, New York.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please proceed.
At this point, it's become redundant, but I do believe that traffic, huge concern as it is, with mainly a vacant lot. There's only a few stores in there. We've already seen car accidents. There's a ton of people at that four-way intersection between the parking lot coming westbound, eastbound, and coming from Great Neck Road. There's constantly traffic there at any time of the day. And I do believe that the people that it does bring around is a concern. You could see at any other 7-Eleven go up a mile up the block. The 7-Eleven right on Oak Street, people that it brings around are, they don't only loiter in front of there, they loiter around the back, they loiter on the side streets and everything. Garbage is an issue. And I had today, prior to this meeting, I had gone from 7-Eleven to 7-Eleven to 7-Eleven and just clocked the distance. There's not one 7-Eleven that is in the surrounding area between Copiague and Amityville that is more than 1.5 miles from itself. So the one that is in Amityville, right on Merrick Road, is 1.4 miles from the one that is on Oak Street. And then there's one in Amityville right off 110. And I do believe that there is way better use of that lot if we could bring in something, maybe a non-chain store, something maybe as a restaurant, mom and pop store. I don't think, I haven't heard really more benefits. I've heard just more disadvantages of this. I think that there's more disadvantages, and having that as vacant lot is almost better right now than introducing all these new problems between delivery trucks, all these people coming in that we don't want. And if you look at other 7-Elevens, like someone brought up before, the one Amityville on 110 by the Great Barn, there's already been quite a few reported accidents, and that's not even a busy corner. But now you have more stores in this area, and you're adding another popular store. And I don't really see the benefit of having another one within another mile and a half. So that's my concern.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ludwig. We appreciate you participating.
Next panelist is Sarah Naeem.
Promoting Sarah right now.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes.
We don't have video, but we have audio.
All right,
Okay.
there you are. Could you please state your name and address?
Sarah Naeem. I live at 41 Lake Drive in Copiague.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please proceed.
My family actually owns the 7-Eleven on Oak Street, and my mother was talking earlier, and not to beat a dead horse, but there's already so many businesses that are so alike to the 7-Eleven in that lot as is. You have a Card Smart, which is essentially a convenience store. You have a CVS right across the street, 24-hour business. You have the Rite Aid. And I feel the 7-Eleven isn't necessarily necessary. And there's a Dunkin' across the street. So there's a lot of businesses it would take from, and I don't really see the benefit.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you participating.
Next panelist is Barbara Sequeira.
I'm promoting Barbara right now.
Hello? Can we unmute my phone or?
Just asking her.
You're
I think she's unmuted now.
Okay, sorry.
That's
Hi,
okay.
my name
Go
is
ahead.
Barbara Sequeira, and I live at 230 Baylawn Avenue in Copaig. And I really,
Hold on. You swear to
okay.
tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please proceed.
And, at first I saw 7-Eleven, I was like, oh, that's not a bad idea. But truthfully, I live here. I've been living here for a very long time. I'm down by Tanner Park. I'm on Baylawn. It's a nightmare. The traffic's a nightmare. You're all saying the same thing. I have friends in the harbor. It's a nightmare going to see them. Fine fare's a nightmare. All of it. It's too much. We're way too many people here in this very little community. I've been here since I'm 5 years old. I'm not going to tell you how old I am. It's a long time. And let me tell you, a lot has changed. I love it. I don't want to move anywhere else. But I got to tell you, you just keep doing all of this big stuff. We need little stuff like everybody is saying, more community, more being together, all of these apartments. Where are these people going to drive to? I mean, the traffic is unbelievable. To leave Copaig to go to Farmingdale, it takes me 40 minutes in the morning. Not during Corona, but prior to that. You can't get off of Great Neck Road. You can't go up Great Neck Road. You can't go up Strong's. You got to go into Amityville up Bayview. And you're just bringing more traffic. And that's really all I have to say.
Thank you so much for participating in our public hearing. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next participant is Russell Kunkel.
So I don't see Russell in my attendee list. Again, if I'm missing you, please send me a chat or raise your hand and we can circle back.
So we'll move to Susan Frontiera.
I also am not seeing Susan. Same thing, please send me a chat and let me know. But I think next we have Kathy Ludwig, and I see her here, and I'll promote her to a panelist.
Kathy, you got to unmute your microphone. Hello? There you go.
I don't know that I really have anything to add to the conversation.
Hold on, state your name and address, because we want to make sure we have a record of everybody that's participating.
Kathy Ludwig,
Okay. What's your address?
5 Colonial Road, Copaig.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
The only other thing that I would maybe add that is a concern with, I mean, aside from the traffic, which everybody else has stated, when the concerts, which I know is a concern of mine, considering with the apartments on the corner of Baylawn, especially when the concerts resume in the summertime, what happens when the traffic is not moving on these streets and there's an emergency down in one of those houses. That's a big concern of mine. A traffic light needs to be put up or something, and you're just inviting more traffic to the area. But I am concerned that there is going to be a tragedy one day when emergency vehicles can't get down those streets.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Kath.
Next is Sadir Nasir.
I don't see Sardar Nasir in our list of attendees. If I'm missing you, please raise your hand and send me a chat.
Okay, Suzanne Phillips.
I'm also not seeing Suzanne Phillips in my list of attendees. Again, if I'm missing you, please send a chat or raise your hand.
Anne Marie Weissman.
I do see Anne Marie. I'm promoting her to a panelist right now. Can you just ask Anne Marie to unmute herself?
Anne Marie, you need to unmute your microphone. Anne Marie, please unmute. There you go. Oh, you had it. Still muted. Hello?
Yeah, she's good.
Okay, could you please state your name and address for the record, Anne Marie?
I see that she's unmuted, but I'm not getting any sound on her microphone. If we want to circle back to the next person, Anne Marie, if you're unable, if you want to send a chat, if not, we can always submit your comments in writing via email or by regular mail to the planning department.
Okay, let's go to the next.
Chris Gallus.
I see Mr. Gallus, and I'm promoting him to a panelist right now. Not sure if he's going to be able to unmute himself. He mentioned in the chat he might not be able to. And if not, he's also aware that he can submit comments in writing as well. But I'll give it a shot here with Mr. Gallus, just asking him to unmute himself.
Mr. Gallus, you're not unmuting. Okay, he'll pass.
He sent me it. Yep. Okay.
Thank you very much for participating. We appreciate it.
And by the way, Anne Marie Weissman just wants to listen. She did not want to participate.
All right. So noted.
Okay.
Next.
That's it on the list, but I see Carolyn has a hand raised. I don't know if she's signed in with a different name.
I believe that's Carolyn Kunkel. I believe she has spoken already, and I think I'll try both of them again real quick. Carolyn, if you could send me a chat if you're not Carolyn Kunkel. But Farouk, I believe, had trouble unmuting himself, so I'm going to re-promote him and see if he has an opportunity to unmute himself.
Okay.
All right, looks like
Hello?
Farouk is unmuted.
Sir?
You're unmuted.
Okay.
Yes. This
Could
is
you your name, address for the record.
Mohammed Naeem, 241 Lake Drive, Copiague, New York, 11726. Phone number is 631-681-2011.
Okay, thank you. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Absolutely, I do.
Okay, please proceed, sir.
I'm really against about this because we have too many 7-Eleven around, and we should keep it up. Which one we have, keep the community clean, safer. And I worked 7-Eleven so many years. We have a lot of problem in the night. The more 7-Eleven, the more people come out. I think they shouldn't build up another 7-Eleven so close with each other. I'm against it. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Thank you very much for participating and your
Thank
patience.
you so much.
We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All
Denise,
right.
Matthew,
Yep, I spoke to Carolyn, sent a chat. She is not speaking. She had her hand raised. That's everyone that we have registered to speak. I don't see anyone else who's circled back, who we were unable to speak to. So turn it back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
okay, thank you very much. Could the representatives from the applicant who would like to address some of the concerns that we heard from speakers?
Yes, what I'll do is I'll kind of gloss over the topics at the moment, and then we have people amongst our panelists that can speak to specifics.
Okay. State your name, for the record.
Rick Bartlett, architect. We spoke, I know one of the concerns was people were concerned about the exterior of the shopping center. I do know that conditional to the 7-Eleven project, the landlord has agreed to do a facade facelift and redo the exterior of the shopping center. So that should appease, a lot of the concerns along that avenue. The trash concerns, I'm sure that's something that can be addressed with the landlord and the shopping center owner. I know that the 7-Eleven has a separate trash enclosure that they're very conscious about and do maintain avidly at their facilities. In terms of actual traffic, we had not done a traffic analysis as it wasn't requested as part of our process with planning to date. But we do have Andrew Valari from Stonefield Engineering who can address some of those concerns based on what he's been involved with the project so far. So I'll turn it over to Andrew right now and let him address some of that.
All right.
Thanks, Rick.
Please state your name, address for the record, and a little bit about your background experience.
My name is Andrew Valeri. That's V as in Victor, Illeri. I'm a project manager at Stonefield Engineering and Design located at 584 Broadway, Suite 310, New York, New York. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of New York and have been accepted as an expert witness in the field of traffic and transportation engineering before this board previously. What I'd like to start with, in just listening to a lot of the comments from the members of the public, is the site location and where specifically this 7-Eleven is located. So there's an existing building in the shopping center. There are no increases to the footprint of the building. It's being maintained exactly as is, with some improvements, obviously, to convert it to a 7-Eleven. We're in front of this board for a change of use application. You could argue that without coming in front of this board, the site could operate as a bank pretty seamlessly, going back to what it formerly was used as. Any other use that goes into this building obviously would be in front of this board for a similar application we have tonight. One of the selling points, or one of the benefits of proposing a 7-Eleven here, is the impact to the overall the parking lot. The parking lot is only so big. There's no increase in the amount of parking that's going to be provided. However, when you have a use like 7-Eleven, and you all know this if you tenant or if you patronize a 7-Eleven in the area, you are at a 7-Eleven for as little time as possible, basically to get what you need and then to go. So the parking space that you're occupying, you're not there for very long, just a couple of minutes, and there's a high turnover. So there may be a lot of traffic, but there is not a long tenure of each parking space. So if you were to compare another use that could go here, maybe a restaurant, maybe a retail use, someone mentioned in the comments, a pet supply store, you're going to be parked in your parking space for a much longer time, and that parking lot's going to fill up. You put a restaurant here, well, at the same time when Mama's is busy, this restaurant will be busy, and you'll have parking at the same exact time that's going to be filling up the entire parking lot. If you've got a 7-Eleven, you know that the parking lot, it's not going to be very much impacted. You see the 7-Elevens in the area, they've got somewhere between 10 and 15 parking spaces each. And that's all that would be used in this remote corner of the parking lot, just that little nugget of the parking lot. Also with a 7-Eleven use, it's what's referred to as the industry as a pass-by use, meaning that a lot of people go to 7-Eleven when they're on their way from one destination to the next. And someone pointed out that South Great Neck Road is a way for the peninsula down in this area to get out to Montauk Highway and then go any direction. That's true. So, you know, in the morning, there's a lot of northbound traffic on South Great Neck Road. People are leaving the peninsula. What could happen when this 7-Eleven, if it were to be approved, is there? Someone could turn into the parking lot, get their cup of coffee, and then continue north, going the way they already would be. They'd already be going through the intersection if 7-Eleven was there or not. They're just passing through the intersection, and that's the concept of pass by. The industry standard Institute of Transportation Engineers, it's called the ITE. The ITE manual says that up to 78% of 7-Eleven traffic is pass by. And that's how, when you have an application like this, the net increase in traffic is actually very marginal. What you're going to see is that a lot of the traffic that is going to this 7-Eleven is already going through that intersection as it is. They're already going through Montauk Highway and Great Neck Road. Another thing to keep in mind when we're all comparing these other 7-Elevens, I think the closest 3 7-Elevens are the one a little bit to the west that's on Montauk Highway, just west of Grand Central Avenue. There's one to the east at Pecan. And then there's one a little bit further to the north on Oak Street that the franchisee has spoken tonight about. If you look at all 3 of those sites, they're almost identical. There's not too much parking. It's hard to say that there's a loading zone at all of them, and they're on fairly small sites. If you pick any one of them, when you turn into the parking lot, you are essentially right on top of the back of the parking spaces. This site layout is actually, in my opinion, quite a good site layout, because in order to get to the parking for 7-Eleven, you have to drive almost 200 feet from the main driveways. So you have a better opportunity to judge where available parking is. If someone's backing out of the parking stall, it shouldn't really affect you because you have so much room and so many options of where to find parking in this center. But in general, when I look at a application like this, a pass-by intensive use, a use that's occupying a building that's already there in a commercial center, in a commercial area, I find that the 7-Eleven actually would be a good use for the area, given the pass-by intensive nature of the use, and that won't increase traffic volumes at any of these intersections, which may be congested right now. So I'd be happy to answer any other questions that the board has.
Have other questions?
Well, I know that there was also, if I could speak just for a second, there was also a concern where people were citing the proximity of this location to other 7-Elevens in the area, let alone local franchisees that own those stores. But there were also some of the public had a concern. What I'd like to do is ask that you allow Ken Bordieri from 7-Eleven, who's involved in their real estate department, to speak to that. So if you could allow him to be a panelist.
Sure. Yes. Are you there, Ken?
I am here. How's everybody doing tonight?
Could you please state your name and address for the record?
Kenneth Bordieri, 158 Hillside Avenue, Manhasset, New York.
Okay. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
So how many 7-Elevens do you need in 1 square mile?
That's not that. I know everybody always, you hear that a lot, but the reality is just as it was pointed out by Andrew, it's really about capturing the existing traffic. So if we're committing to putting a store somewhere, it's because there's a traffic pattern and a pool of demand of customers that aren't being served currently by the stores that we have in place. It's not about cannibalizing our own stores, because that doesn't make any actual sense to do that from a corporate standpoint. But it does mean that we do feel that there is a community that would still be, or still would like to be serviced by some of our offerings, and that's really what it comes down to at the end of it. The store that is all the way to our east, a mile or so east, there are plenty of opportunities for folks that are south of this location or north of it to take roadways up through Copaig, up through the town, the 27. That wouldn't be passing any of those other stores. So that's really how it works for us. And what we look at is really to try to capture pools of demand, not cannibalizing our own stores. That doesn't make a whole lot of business sense.
Okay. Do any of the board members have any questions?
Yes. My business and my traveling is right around this. It's in the center of it. And I was concerned about Andrew's comments that this location offers a lot easier access and parking and convenience for people who are going to pass by. If I leave my house and I'm going to go play golf over in Bergen Point, right now I can pass 2 7-Elevens, and even early in the morning, sometimes it's a little tight in there. So this one will take my business away from either the Amityville or Lindenhurst location. So maybe back to Ken, is there anything in the franchise agreements? You use the word cannibalize, and that upsets me. Is there anything in the franchise agreements that protects a franchisee from this concentration? And, as Pat said, how many units can you get in a square mile?
If I'm not at liberty to speak about the franchise agreement, but nor on top of it do I really know anything about it. It is a separate department. That is an agreement that the franchisee signs between themselves and 7-Eleven, and it is a very confidential agreement. So, as much as I would like to answer it, there's really no way for me to accurately answer it.
I mean, if there were no other 7-Elevens in the area, I think it's a great location. It's been vacant for so long, and if a restaurateur wanted to come in there, they could have. The parking is more than ample. That northeast corner of the shopping center is vacant all the time. So I don't see parking being an issue. As I mentioned earlier, closing the curb cut, I think, is a good thing. I just heard from a lot of local franchisees who are concerned that this could pull from them. And I may admit that I might stop in there rather than the other two.
Okay.
So, just an observation. Not sure if I'm for or against it, but just talking out loud.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. Is there anybody else, any other board members that would like to ask any questions of the applicant? No. Okay, Matthew, I noticed that people want to make additional comments. Could you state for the record the opportunity folks will have to either add to the comments that they've made or encourage others to comment as well?
Sure. So I mentioned it in the chat to all attendees. This is the same proceeding as would take place in an in-person meeting in the boardroom. You're afforded one opportunity to speak and address the board. After that, any comments may be submitted in writing. We have two options for that. They can be submitted via mail to Town of Babylon Planning Board, 200 East Sunrise Highway, Lindenhurst, New York, 11757, or by email to planningcomments@townofbabylon.com. And if anyone has any questions or requires additional information, they can call the planning department at 631-957-3103.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we're going to keep the record for this public hearing open. Matthew, what do you recommend?
We recently received revisions on this application. We also have comments from the public. Comments are still pending from traffic safety, planning, and engineering. We recommend extending the record until August 3rd, 2020.
Could I have a motion to extend the record to August 3rd, 2020? Jerry, will you offer that motion?
No, Pat, I'm sorry. It was a question I thought about earlier. If I can just ask Rick Bartlett a question here.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned that the owner of the shopping center is considering a major overhaul of the facade elevations of the building. Is there any certainty to that, or do you?
As far as I know, it was requested, I believe, by the supervisor that if this were to be moved forward, that the landlord put some money into the shopping center and revamp the facade of the building and do some upgrades to, breathe some new life into the shopping center. So yes, I do agree. I do believe it is a valid component of the approval.
All right, I'll ask Matthew about that in a minute. The only reason I raised that question, I have a building about a quarter mile west of that when Copeg decided they wanted to have a Tudor theme to all the new construction and renovations, my building was the first one that did a Tudor theme. And I changed that about 15 years ago. So the shopping center followed the Copeg or Town of Babylon's. They wanted to create some kind of a theme in Copeg. So this one is way outdated, and I'll switch to Matt. Are there any kind of agreements with the owners of the shopping center about changing the facade?
So we have had conversations with the property owner about making an application to the planning department to upgrade the facade of the building. That is not a formal application yet. We have had conversations with them. I've met on site with the applicant. And I've spoken to them as recently as this morning. And they've stated that they are in the process of, they've engaged with an architect, and they are in the process of coming up with some designs, but there has been no formal application made to the planning department as of yet. And those upgrades to the facade are not the subject of this particular application that 7-Eleven is the applicant for.
Just curious.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jerry. Okay, let's get back to the motion. It was a motion to extend the record to August 3rd, 2020, offered by Jerry O'Neill, second by Michael. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Anyone opposed? Hearing none, the record extended to August 3rd, 2020. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Item on our agenda.
Item B, site plan review, is Planning Board Job Number 19-54A, FW Webb, proposes to modifications to existing warehouse and associated site improvements.
Matthew?
Yeah, so we have a number, this is not a public hearing, it is a site plan review, and we have a number of people who are registered to participate on behalf of the applicant. I'm going to slowly begin adding them as promoting them to panelists. The first being the attorney, Bram Weber. And I'll slowly add them through, and I'll let you know when I have everyone.
Okay. Okay, you all have to mute your microphone. Mr. Weber, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Good to see you.
Good. Would you like to start?
Sure. So
Please.
Weber. Sure. Graham Weber, Weber Law Group, 290 Broad Hollow Road, Suite 200, Melville, for the applicant. So I'm also, as Matt said, he's letting other people into the meeting. Andy Macbeth from Greenleaf Construction, who's the project manager. I just want to let everybody, the board, know, any of the interested members of the public who's here. So if there are any questions, Andy Macbeth from Greenleaf Construction, which is the project manager. Scott Brown from FW Web, as well as Alexander Koziski from Bowler Engineering, who's the civil engineer. And then Ethan Shakowski from Atlantic Traffic, who is available to talk about any traffic and parking related issues. So we have civil, traffic, representative of the project manager, and representative of the applicant itself. So briefly, this site is proposed for FW Web, which is a 150-year-old company from Massachusetts, family-owned business, locations across the country. Primarily the Northeast, 2 already on Long Island, Center Reach, and Riverhead. It's a company with 2,000 employees. And what they do is basically they are a wholesale supplier to construction trades of HVAC equipment, plumbing supplies, pipes, valves, and fittings. This is a currently vacant property, formerly Nassau Tool Works. The proposal is to renovate the building, use it for wholesale, warehouse, and interestingly, some specialized prefabrication of fire protection equipment. Matt has pulled up the aerial. You can see the existing building. My understanding, again, it was a former Nassau Tool Works building. The reason why you see another lot with buses is that after Nassau Tool Works modified their operations, it actually became a bus schoolyard. So FW Web is coming in. They're going to acquire the building. They're going to own the property. They actually own it already. And the idea, again, is to renovate the building, upgrade it, upgrade the property itself, and use it for, as I said, wholesale, some office space, warehouse, and some specialized fire protection equipment manufacturing. And outdoor storage, which is very important to the operation. This application has gone through an extensive review in the planning department over the past 7, 8, 9 months. And here we are in front of the planning board. We do have to go to the zoning board of appeals for some variances, parking, and some minor landscaping variances based on existing conditions, although the existing conditions are being improved. And that. So if there are no questions from the board, I was going to ask Alexander Koziski from Bowler to actually walk through the site plan so he can describe kind of how the site's going to operate.
Okay, before we do that, I just want to ask the Commissioner of Planning provided a memorandum to the board dated July 8th, 2020 regarding a series of conditions, covenants, and restrictions. And my question is, do you have any questions or concerns or related to this memo that you'd like to bring to our attention?
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The conditions and covenants are acceptable.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's go to the site plan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Matthew, will I be able to share my screen or?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Let me give it a shot, but I have the site plan available on the screen, and I can kind of walk through it as you talk and explain. But I don't think I have the ability to allow you to share the screen at this point.
Okay, we could go right to the site plan if you'd like to present that.
Sure. Give me one moment here.
Perfect. So good evening, members of the board. My name is Alexander Koziski. It's Koziski. I'm a project manager at Bowler Engineering. Bowler is located at 2929 Expressway Drive in Hopog, New York.
Hold on, sir. Do you tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please proceed.
The subject parcel is located at 34 Lamar Street in West Babylon. also identified as District 100, Section 75, Block 2, lots 23.3 and 23.4. I just wanted to note that we will be merging the two lots into one. The total lot area of the subject site is 166,440 square feet, or 3.821 acres. The site is zoned GA industry, to which a warehouse use is permitted as of right. To the north of our parcel, we have an adult establishment alongside with an industrial manufacturing establishment. To the south, we have a tenant and events services along with a steel manufacturing establishment. To the east, of course, we have Lamar Street. And to the west, we have King Street. We're here tonight to discuss the site plan review comments related to the site work, in addition to the interior alterations to the existing 60,083 square foot warehouse building with office. FW Web proposes to repurpose the existing warehouse to a 53,909 square foot warehouse and a 6,174 square feet of dedicated office space. In addition, FW Web will be storing 2,868 square feet of outdoor storage to the south of the site and 21,344 square feet of outdoor storage to the north. The reason Matthew was asking to update the site plan, because it doesn't seem like this is the right plan, but all outdoor storage will be enclosed by a brand new 8-foot high black vinyl chain link fence, and everything will be set back 30 feet from the front yard property line on both King Street and Lamar Street. So in that exhibit, the shaded area should be 30 feet back. So just an incorrect site plan.
Let me see if I can give you the ability to share.
Okay.
I'm going to promote you to a co-host, Alex, so that should give you the ability to share your screen.
Perfect. All right, just let me know if everyone can see my screen.
Just to tell Bowler you've been promoted.
Okay.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Perfect. So as you can see here, the outdoor storage that we have shaded in gray is beyond the 30-foot front yard setback. So I just want to make note of that. We represented these shaded areas for the outdoor storage, which will also provide enough maneuverability for both fire trucks and delivery trucks to exit and enter at each curb cut without impacting the outdoor storage. The existing 3, so we have one loading dock and the 2 at the bottom, will be repurposed for operations and deliveries. We anticipate 2 to 3 truck deliveries a week. Our office is also proposing a total of 51 parking stalls at the south, inclusive of 3 ADA stalls. The existing site is, as it stands right now, proposes a total of 34 parking stalls. All sidewalks and ramps on site will meet ADA standards. In addition, we'll be replacing all the pavement areas and upgrade the drainage in compliance to the Town of Babylon Engineering Code. Our office will be proposing a brand new 16 by 18 trash enclosure, which I can probably give you a better.
Okay.
Can you see the rendering, or is it still the site plan?
No, you got it.
There's the rendering.
All right. So we'll be proposing a 16 by 18 foot trash enclosure at the southwest corner. The trash enclosure will consist of 8-foot high chain link fence with privacy slats, which is located inside the exterior fence. In addition, we'll be providing 9 6-foot tall arborvitaes around the trash enclosure for screening. Our client will also be seeding all new landscaped areas and provide a combination of new ornamental trees, shrubs, perennials, and ornamental grasses. We'll be increasing the total landscaped area by approximately 1,200 square feet total. Lastly, all existing site lighting will be removed and replaced with LED lights shielded and lit downward in compliance to the Town of Babylon standards. At this time, I would like to open up to any questions the board may have with the application.
Okay, do any of the board members have any questions regarding this site plan? No? Okay. Jerry?
In the outside storage, are there height restrictions on how high you can stack whatever you're storing?
As far as the town code or as the operations?
Both. What are the town codes, and are you going to comply with that?
I would have probably Andy from Greenleaf to speak upon that, but I would, Greenleaf would comply to the town code as far as stacking on the exterior. I'm not quite sure what the stacking is as far as, I mean, Bram, if you may know a little bit better, but
Yeah, and there's no requirement when it comes to height of stacking, but we haven't received no indication from the town that there's any concern with the height of the proposed stacking.
Matthew?
Yeah, just for the record, I believe there is a limit of 8 feet for stacking of materials outdoors, and I'm looking right now, and I do not see any comments regarding this from building departments. If it were to exceed that, it would a variance would be written for that matter.
And we don't need a variance, right?
And I do not see a denial currently written. The latest comments I have from building state a denial will be written when landscaping provided, but it does not note a concern regarding the stacking or the height of the stacking of materials.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none.
Yes, I have a question.
Julianne?
If there is a restriction on that height stacking, would that then be added to the CNRs?
If that's something that the board is requesting, we can propose that. Like I said, I don't think it's in the town code. I don't have the specific section, but it's something that if the board wanted to request,
You know what we
they
can
could.
do too? Matt, I'm sorry, she's not saying, we can also note it on the plan that height will meet and not exceed town code. We could certainly add that to the plan.
Yeah, I can mention that too to Brian, who's the planner on this job. That's something that we discussed, and we can, if the board is satisfied with that, we can add a note specifically on the plan stating compliance to the code and the height restriction.
Okay.
Okay, and any other questions? All right, hearing none. Matthew?
I'm just going to stop the sharing. Sorry, there's my agenda here. We have outstanding comments currently from building, engineering, planning, traffic safety, and highway. The memorandum from Commissioner notes that they're primarily regarding the front yards and the landscaping and outside storage, which I think is in the process of being addressed. I don't know if it's been formally submitted yet to the town, but we did see it on the screen. And as a result, the planning department recommends the record for this matter to be extended until August 3rd, 2020.
All right, could I have a motion to extend the record to August 3rd, 2020? Motion by Frank.
Motion.
Second by Dan.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hearing none, the record is extended to August 3rd.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Be well, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yeah. right.
Item C on the agenda is a work session for site plan review, planning board job number 18-38A, Educational Bus Transportation, Inc. And the first resolution, on the resolutions on page 2, item G, site plan review, planning board job number 18-38A, Educational Bus Transportation, Inc.
Matthew?
Yeah, so we closed the record at our last meeting. All departmental comments have been addressed. And it is noted that this is a type 2 action and there is no secret resolution. So I turn it back to the board.
All right, so this item is closed. The record has been closed. So should we jump to resolution to approve the site?
Yes.
Item G?
Item G.
Okay. All right, so let's flip over to page 2, item G, which is, Denise, you want to read that into the record?
Sure, resolution, site plan review, planning board job number 18-38A, Educational Bus Transportation, Inc.
All right, and this is to merge all and construct additional parking outdoor storage along with associated site improvements. Okay, could I have a motion to approve, Ed?
Motion.
Second, Jerry?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? No, a resolution is approved unanimously.
So now we're back to page 1, item D, work session, site plan review, subdivision, planning board job number 19-46B, Marty Homes LLC. And we have, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Matt.
I was just going to say this is a subdivision application to change 3 lots into 2 and construct 2 new single-family dwellings. It's located at the northwest corner of Hawkins Boulevard and Brookside Court, and the record was closed at the last meeting of the board.
All right, so let's jump over to page 2. Item H, the resolution to approve the site plan in this subdivision.
First, item F, which is the neg deck resolution.
Thank you. All right, so we need a motion declaring a negative declaration. Motion, Julianne?
Motion.
Second, Michael?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Now we can move to item H, which is resolution, site plan review, subdivision for planning board job 1946B, Marty Homes LLC.
Okay, any questions? If none, motion by Michael,
Motion.
second by Julianne.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
We're going to stay on page 2. Item E for work session for a modified site plan is planning board job number 14-44 ABE, Angle Berman at Deer Park LLC.
This was for the retaining wall. Matthew?
That's correct. This is a modified site plan application. This is the Angle Berman at Deer Park, located at the site of the former Washington Avenue School. It's currently under construction, and they submitted a modified site plan application to add a retaining wall along the north and east property lines to address some grading issues and the steepness of a slope there. They added the retaining wall. They also put the landscape buffers in front of this retaining wall, and as a result, we asked them to plant higher plants in these areas at heights of 8 to 10 feet as opposed to the normal 6 feet because of the change in elevation of the grade level where the plants were planted. All departments have signed off on this application, and as so stated in communication number 3, which is a letter from the planning commissioner.
Okay, do any of the board members have any questions about that? No. All right, so let's see.
For resolution, item I on page 3 for a modified site plan for Angle Berman, planning board job number 14-44 ABE.
All right, so we need a motion to approve. Dan?
Motion.
Second, Jerry?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Anyone opposed? Hearing no opposition. Resolution.
On to item J, which is architectural reviews. First, application number 134848, Dingle Bay Enterprises, construction of a new house.
Matthew?
Everything is in good order with this application.
To approve, Ed?
Motion.
Second, Julianne?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Architectural review number 2, application number 133949, Santos A. Calderon, construction of a new house.
Everything is in good order with this application as well. It's a new house located on Lake Drive in Wyandanch. They have gone before the Zoning Board of Appeals and received approval as well for any variances necessary.
Let's motion approve. Michael,
Motion.
second Dan,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Architectural review, application number 134205, Michael Krasnicki, expansion of an existing house.
All departmental comments have been satisfied and there's no outstanding comments on this application.
Motion by Dan,
Motion.
second by Frank. Second by Frank,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Architectural review, application number 134082, JP Property Buyers LLC, expansion of an existing house.
Everything is in good order with this application as well, and they have received their zoning board of appeals approval for any variances required. This is just a second story addition and interior alterations on the first floor.
Motion by Frank, motion?
Motion.
Okay, second Julianne,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
On to communications. Number 1, email dated June 29th, 2020 from Angela D'Onofrio, Katz Group Properties, to the Town of Babylon Planning Board regarding Planning Board job number 17-33AF. Bobby Lau expressing concern on the type of retail store that will be allowed to occupy this site.
okay, read and filed.
Number 2, letter dated June 8th, 2020 from Bevan Nakamore, Traffic Sector Leader at Lero Engineering, Inc. to Rachel Shelfo, Commissioner, Planning Department regarding 456 Albany Avenue, North Amityville, regarding second traffic review.
Matthew, anything you want to add? We should do that.
No, these are the traffic comments that we had discussed last week. We've sent them to the board for their review. And I believe this is a matter that is currently going to be looked at, and the comments are being analyzed. And this item will come up later on our reserve calendar.
Okay, read and filed.
I just have one comment on that, which I
Yes.
did send in an email. If it could be dated somewhere within that memo, the date that that traffic study was done. Because I'm assuming it's been done now when they're, the students over at Mark of Excellence are not in school.
Yeah, I did see that email. I can we can follow up with that and see if they can add a supplemental note to this comment letter.
Just so if we want a comparison in the future when school is in session, we have something to go back on when the exact date that this study was done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 3, memo dated July 6, 2020 from Rachel Shelfo, Commissioner of Planning and Development, Patrick Halpin, Chairperson Planning Board regarding Planning Board job number 14-44 ABE, Engel Berman at Deer Park, stating no objection to the approval of the site plan, to the
Okay.
modified site plan.
Okay, next we have what, accept minutes?
Yes. June
Michael?
29th, 2020.
Michael?
Hey, Mike.
Just a few grammatical things I want to go over. On page 2 of 20, in the top paragraph, proposing a 2-story home on each parcel and the finishings with the apostrophe. I think the apostrophe should be removed. And then on page 3 of 20, the bottom paragraph, they should have went. It should be they should have gone.
These are verbatim minutes. I'm sorry, Mike.
What?
These minutes are verbatim, so it's exactly as said at this point.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, I got you.
I want to
That's
correct
good.
them too.
Yes. So on page 5 of 20, Mr. Katz says, it comes to mind that I am scared of is an adult video place. I don't know if that was what he said.
I
Perhaps
might
he
have
did.
dropped a D on that one. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
okay. So, sorry about that. On page 7 of 20, the big fat paragraph toward the top, the parking we have exactly on extra parking. It should be 1 extra parking space. And lastly, on page
Give her a
8 of
second to
20,
get there.
Oh,
just
sorry.
cite them.
I'm trying to
no
be
fine.
merciful here. On the fat paragraph on page 7 of 20, the third line, the parking we have exactly on extra parking, it should be 1. And last but not least, on page 8 of 20, the top paragraph, Mr. Esposito, the first line on this application have spoken, not have spoke. So other than that, I mean, they were perfect, all factually correct, everything was completely
All
correct.
right,
and-
all noted and changed. And don't forget that apostrophe, which was the first.
You got it.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Michael. We appreciate it. We need a motion by Michael, second by Julianne.
Second.
Minutes, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. As edited.
Okay, so now we're going to page 5. The public hearing date is April 16th and May 13th. Planning Board job number 17-06AE, MR Property Builders.
There's no change to the status of this application. The planning department is still in conversations with the applicant about potential changes to this application, whether it's a reduction in the number of units or a change to the site plan. While those conversations are ongoing, we recommend extending the record to August 17th, 2020.
Okay, motion to extend the record to August 17th, 2020. Motion by Terry, second by Ed.
Second.
All in favor, record is accepted. Aye.
Next public hearing date was December 3rd, 2018. Planning Board job number 15-03A, Crossroads Shopping Center.
This is the 7-Eleven application at Great Neck Road and Albany Avenue. As we discussed earlier, the traffic comments came in and have been put to the board's attention. There are some additional comments and there's some analysis that's going to take place of those comments. I'll turn over to Mr. Casey if he has any additional thing to add.
I think that Julianne had comments on this in terms of the depth of the analysis, including the daycare center or the use with some busing has to be further analyzed, and perhaps this needs a close look as we move the record forward, but I'll have further comment on it at another time.
Okay, need to record. Matthew, what do you recommend?
We recommend extending the record until August 10th, 2020.
Motion to extend the record. Ed?
Motion.
Second by Ed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Was that Dan and Ed?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to page 6. Planning Board job number 15-35AE, and that's Chowdhury.
So we finally have received the traffic safety comments back on this application. There's still revisions required in planning, traffic safety, and engineering. Some minor comments and some more extensive traffic comments that had been previously stated. This application, if the board recalls, the public hearing was held. This is a change of zone, and it is awaiting a recommendation to town board for a change of zone. The items that were of note that kind of were held over, or the reason why the board didn't make a recommendation, were the applicant came back with a new test bore, which showed that the depth to groundwater was greater than previously shown, and as a result, the basement has been eliminated. They've addressed the rear facade of the building by adding some additional window treatments. That was something that I believe Mr. O'Neill had mentioned for the facade that faces the residential properties. And they've relocated the refuse enclosure at an angle and at a distance further away from the neighboring properties. So I wanted to put it back to the board. If they so choose, if they were comfortable with making a recommendation to town board for the change of zone, or if they feel that they'd like to see all of the outstanding comments addressed prior to making any referral to the town board.
Thoughts, comments from the board? Jerry?
Yeah.
Mike? Hello?
So if the board is comfortable, I mean, I'm not hearing anything. We can bring back next week for a work session resolution to make a recommendation to town board for the change of zone, or we can extend the record out further a couple weeks while we wait for all comments to be addressed.
All right, why don't we, I recommend we wait for all comments unless there's some urgency that I'm not aware of.
No,
Okay.
that's fine. So then we recommend extending the record out to August 17th, 2020.
Okay, motion by to extend the record, motion by second by Gary, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next item is job number 1856 AE, Santiago and Ingrid Taveras.
This application is the same status. We're waiting for the town board approval on the change of zone. This is a change of zone to DC downtown Copeg. I believe a few of the neighbor comments are still being addressed or answered. We recommend extending the record until July 27th, 2020.
Okay, motion to extend the record, motion by Frank.
Motion.
By Dan,
Second.
favor, the record is extended.
Aye.
Aye.
Page 7, public hearing date December 9th. Number 1, planning board job number 1924 AK, Conklin Street Partners LLC.
Similar status on this one. We're still awaiting the resolution of the issue of the traffic signal at the entrance to this site. We're waiting to hear back a proposal from the traffic signal engineer on the scope of the proposed upgrades. And as a result, we recommend extending the record to July 27th, 2020.
Motion by Michael.
Motion.
Second by Ed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Record is extended.
Public hearing date January 6th, 2020, planning board job number 19-36 AGE, Farmingdale Hospitality Partners LLC.
This is the proposed hotel on Route 110. We requested revisions on this application on May 1st. And also this application is awaiting a town board decision on the change of zone to MH Motel Hotel. The town board reserved their decision until their next meeting of August 5th, I believe. So we recommend extending the record, the planning record to August 10th, 2020.
Okay, motion to extend by Ed.
Motion.
Second by Jerry.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Record is approved.
Planning board here, public hearing date February 3rd, 2020, job number 19-45 BE, MR Property Builders LLC. The record is extended to today. There was just a typo that it said July 8th.
This is a change of zone on 3rd Avenue and 9th Street in West Babylon in order to from e-business to C-residence for a subdivision and construction of a new single-family dwelling, as well as maintaining an existing dwelling. The town board scheduled their public hearing for the change of zone for August 5th. And as a result, we recommend extending the record to August 10th, 2020.
Okay, motion by Jerry. All in favor, the record is extended.
Aye.
I'm sorry,
Aye.
who made this? Who seconded?
Julianne.
Thank you. So we're going to page 8, public hearing date June 29th, 2020, planning board job number 20-14B, Stanley Gilpin, living irrevocable trust.
So this matter was on our on for a public hearing on our last meeting of June 29th. It was a subdivision to construct 2 single-family dwellings. They're all departmental comments had been satisfied. Nobody spoke at the public hearing, and we have not received any written comments in the last 2 weeks while the record was open. If the board is comfortable, We recommend closing the record and bringing back next week for a work session resolution.
Okay, could I have a motion to close the record? Motion by Michael,
Motion.
second by Dan.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Record.
Page 9, planning board job number 17-33AF, Bobby Lau.
This matter was also heard at our last meeting. This is the proposed shopping center at Bedell, Kellam, and Route 109. The record was held open 2 weeks. I believe we just recently received more written comments this morning that didn't make tonight's agenda. It'll be on next week's agenda. And as a result of those written comments coming in, we recommend extending the record 1 week to July 20th, 2020.
Okay, let's see, motion by Dan,
Motion.
by Ed,
Second.
in favor, the record is extended.
Aye.
Is there anything else? Okay, motion to,
I have a comment, Mr. Chairman.
okay, Mr. Chris,
In regard to the web application, the site plan review earlier, just point out a couple of things. Number one, the agenda shows the zoning there of G industry, and if you look at the memorandum from the commissioner, that indicates GA. Either way, in the code, which I have here with me now and have reviewed, and I always defer to Matt, of course, but I have not found, after a perusal of both sections of the code, any restriction into the height of outside storage. So I think we'll look at this carefully. When Mr. Weber suggests that a notation on the plan is acceptable, that may be so, but I think an application that specifically addresses the height would be good in the form of a condition, covenant, or some other way that the board wants to memorialize that. The only reference to height is that the outside storage areas are to have a 6-foot fence.
okay, okay, so we'll take that up at our next meeting. Thank you. Anything else? No, Julianne, motion?
Motion to adjourn at 9:05 PM.
All right, second by Ed.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. And thank you, Denise and Matthew, for doing such a great job